You guys ready? Here we go. How's it going, guys? Matt here with Carolina Coops. Welcome to Video Chicken. To my left is my host, Kristen Warren.
I think this one really could be a male.
Oh, we got one that's hatching? This show is for you guys. This is the bass fiber. Y'all know chickens are the gateway drug into homesteading.
We survived with only one trip to the ER. Coyotes are everywhere.
It's about time you show up, Matt. It's a great straw.
It is time, finally, for chicken police. They defecate every 12 seconds. Is that true? Now it is officially noon because the buzzer went off.
Well, I've never counted.
That's long
More
road.
coops
That's a good one with the courts and everything.
and more chickens.
Well, the math you do now, Daddy, is chicken math.
Calm down, Matt.
But-
Calm down.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to Video Chicken. We are live. It is August 2nd, September 2nd.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know, I just went and got my hair cut and they're like, yeah, I can't believe it's September. I'm like, oh my God, it's September. It is September 2nd, 2022. Wow. Cutting it close, are we?
Well,
That would be late. Cutting it.
Oh.
I was just standing right there.
Come on. Let's go. The show has started.
Yes. I was here. I was just standing off camera.
Yeah, and I tell you, you brought in pie for everyone but me. Thanks.
No, look.
She's got two pieces there.
Yes.
Oh, you better. You
Yes,
absolutely
look,
better.
look.
This is actually, you know who's so this is lemon meringue pie.
Lemon meringue pie from Lisa Steele's cookbook.
If you don't know who Lisa Steele is, you have not been watching our show.
Yes.
She is the founder, the expert chickenista, another chickenista, Fresh Eggs Daily.
Yes.
Up in Maine.
Yes. We had her on the show a few weeks ago.
So speaking of chickenista, welcome to the show, Kristen.
Thank you.
Our chicken
It's nice
expert.
to be here.
Yeah, it's about time. I mean,
I didn't know
literally-
we were wearing that shirt. I could have worn mine.
Okay, it's about to be official. You didn't shut the door behind you. Now we're locked
I did.
in.
That's
Here we
why
go.
I said, "Do you want me to leave it open so Gus can join us?"
Oh, it is a dog show. We have a show today that we've been talking about doing for at least the past year, because we've been doing the Video Chicken for what, year and a half now, we can say. And we have talked about having a professional dog trainer on.
Yes.
And hopefully being able to discuss dogs and chickens. Okay. And so at 12:15 today, we have a gentleman by the name of Brady out of Florida who's going to be coming on. He is a professional dog trainer. At least I think he is. I'm pretty sure he is. It looks like he is. And
He is.
I met him down in Florida. I think we're in Okeechobee or whatever. And you couldn't miss this gentleman's truck. He must have a good marketing person, or is just really good. He's got the whole wrap and the graphics, the name, everything. You couldn't miss it. So he happened to be walking by, and I'm going to say I tapped him on the shoulder. I'm pretty sure I just went up to him and was like, hey, can I talk to you real quick? And we had a great conversation. It was only about maybe 15 minutes. So I hope he remembers me. I'm not sure. But I said to him, would you ever be willing to come on a show and talk about dogs and chickens? You know, and then to my surprise, he goes, well, let me show you a video. So I hope we have that video.
We do.
Oh, okay, awesome. Where he goes, yes, I actually have a video. Oh, coming in hot. Boy, it's been a busy day. Make sure they're not from the government, local government or federal, state. I don't care.
Oh my God.
If you guys are out there.
Can we go on?
We're going. Well, I got to make sure people know there's people coming to the door. Okay.
That's what their job is.
I just want to make sure. So he's gonna be coming on at 12:15. It's 12:04 right now. I hope you guys are all doing well. Again, we are live. It is September 2nd, 2022. So again, and 12:15 is typically when we get finally our peak of everyone coming in. It takes a little while. Everyone that's already on here, thank you so much. I hope you guys are doing well. Please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section. Today, we're gonna be talking about training your dog with chickens, maybe just talking about, can you get chickens if you already have a dog? So I had, again, about a 15-minute conversation with Brady where he actually quickly explained a couple things that I'll never forget about how he trained a dog. I can't remember if it was his dog or maybe a client of his dog to stop chasing the chickens. So that's always like a big one, right? And then the other big question is, what about getting a dog to protect our flock? So I can't remember when I was talking to him in Florida if we talked about that, but I'd love to pick his brain about that. So again, 12:15, we're going to bring him on. He's already in the green room ready to rock and roll. So everyone is here. Please, please, please share the show. Give us a like. Give us a thumbs up. Do all the things to help continue to grow this show.
Yes, because we enjoy doing it.
We do. So this is
Are you going to eat the pie?
Well, hold on. So you brought in some pie, and then you bring in a chicken waterer, and then
Oh.
I see the famous chicken bag, and I
Yeah,
hear
my chicken purse is clucking.
right, but I you didn't bring the cat.
I tried to put the cat in the chicken purse. It didn't work.
That's not
It didn't
gonna-
work.
No, you
It's
cannot put a cat in a
Yeah,
bag.
I have brought my cat to work before, but it wasn't working today.
That is true. So, fun fact. You know who loves lemon meringue pie,
Who?
and he's watching right now.
Jerry?
Jerry, my dad
Aw.
loves lemon meringue
This is
pie.
the first time I've ever made one.
I
Even-
actually think the reason why he stayed with my mother for so many years is because one thing my mom does extremely well is bake. And I'm pretty sure he'll say, yeah, that's the only reason why I stuck around. It actually wasn't for you kids. It was because of the lemon meringue pie and the Christmas cookies. So again, how you guys doing? Please,
pretty good.
if you have any questions or comments, let us know. And we're going to be, the show, if you've been here before, we're going to be talking about everything chickens. But again, today we have a professional dog trainer that we're going to bring on. And he's shared some videos with us. And we're going to just pick his brain. If you guys have any questions, especially about dogs and chickens, it's not going to be anything specific. And this is going to be an interesting...
And I'll take the cat questions.
This is going to be an interesting show because it can get real touchy when it comes to our pets, which it should be. We love our pets, right? Especially with dogs. And everyone's got their own opinion about training dogs. And a little fun fact, I love dog training. I've never done it professionally or this and that. But I would like to think I've been pretty successful.
Yeah, I think you have.
When I can have a dog do whatever I tell it to do with just my my sign language, if you will. Especially an English bulldog, which are probably one of the most stubborn breeds ever. Bruno, God rest his soul, Bruno. I got him to salute. He would roll over. He's a square. Try to be a dog that's a square and try to roll over. Anyway, so I'm excited about this. Now, again, this is going to be interesting. Ingrid is a huge dog lover. That's one of the things, obviously, I know we all love about Ingrid. She has a huge heart for her dogs. She used to, and correct me where I'm wrong anywhere.
Ingrid, why don't you tell us?
I know Ingrid's over there like, man, you're not going to hit me with anything, are you?
No, I can throw something.
Ingrid, you used to volunteer, right, at a dog shelter?
I worked at a dog shelter.
You worked at a dog
and
shelter.
I've worked for many rescue organizations, shelters, pit bull awareness groups.
Oh, that's a good one because a lot of people, you either love your pit bulls or you're scared to death of them.
And you have 2 dogs, right?
I have 2 dogs. My special boy is 14, and he's one of. I was saying to Brady when we were talking about people that work in shelters always take the difficult dogs because they know they're going to have a hard time getting adopted. So I kind of have a affinity towards the ones that are scared or that have all sorts of problems. And then I have my little rescue pit bull mix, Millie, who's just a barrel of fun.
So Millie is the little pit bull?
Yeah.
Okay, Murphy, the one that you're always like, when we're on the phone with her and Ingrid works from home, the dog starts barking or someone shows Murphy.
He's so
Murphy.
loud.
I never really knew which one was which, to be honest
Yeah,
with
Murphy's the fuzzy one and Millie's the pit bull.
Murphy looks like my cat Chester.
you. Yes.
He's the dog version.
All right. Also, yay. Sorry, I got my mouse back. I know.
We got a lot of comments that people enjoyed you not being distracted by the mouse.
And that's upsetting to me.
I know.
I am not distracted. I multitask.
I think they like the fact that you were frustrated that you couldn't do things. I think that's what
it.
they like.
That's exactly what it is. I think that's all it is. So you know what? I'm going to try to not touch the mouse. I promise.
We were just doing dog introductions. What about you, Matt?
What about me?
What kind of dog do you have?
Well, everyone hopefully knows that answer, but currently we have our beloved Gus Gus. He is a Dog de Bordeaux, also known as the French Mastiff. If you have ever seen the movie Turner and Hooch, you know the dog. And I'm going to say it's pretty accurate. I did a reel the other day. Gus had drool. It had to be 16 inches
saw
long.
that.
And I'm just filming it, waiting for it to drop. And it doesn't drop. It's like a shoestring, right? And then, of course, he just moves his head and hits the dashboard. Then it sticks. And, it's a lot of fun.
That's... I don't like that about your dog. And I'm just going to be
I don't think you like anything about my dog.
I've had 3 dogs in my life. And One of those was especially dear to me. But the other two, like I had one in college, its name was Plunder, and it was named appropriately. We didn't train it, and we'll just leave it at that. And then I have had two dogs in my adult life, so I get the rap as being dog adverse, but I have had dogs. I do love dogs, but I don't like how your dog drools on me. Really, I don't.
It is. It's a hard thing for people. I mean, the Saint
it's so
Bernard is the
big.
same way, and lots of the large
And the way
brachial
he
breeds.
if you approach him wrong, he weighs more than me, so he makes me a little nervous. I think he does.
That's
I
fine.
mean,
That's fine.
He's
That's
a huge
the beauty.
dog.
I'll be honest with you. That's the beauty of dogs. There's so many
Right.
different breeds. Us men, if I'm human race. Jeez, I'm gonna get myself in trouble already. We've trained dogs, bred dogs to work for us, and we got hunting dogs. We got working dogs. Back in the Roman days, which I think is where the mastiffs came from. I mean, it's awful. I can't even imagine.
And mutts.
And you got your mutts.
yeah.
And a lot of people.
Best.
I'm excited about the show. As you can tell, Ingrid, she is going to be on fire. This show is about education and having a conversation. So the reason why I'm so excited about this is I don't know what Brady's going to say.
He's probably chomping at the bit right now.
I know. Well, he actually just walked away.
He
also-
probably couldn't take it anymore and just went.
No, he's getting
We
ready.
should mention that it's K9 Gunner Tactical Dog Training and Boarding.
And I was going to.
Oh, did you have the title?
I am working on my introduction. You got to build it up.
All
You got to
We're
build it
almost
up.
there.
And of course, the thing I'm very happy about Brady coming on is we're not paying him. He's not paying us. This is just good old fashioned conversation. He has his own YouTube channel, K9 Gunner Tactical. I'm not sure if that's the name of the channel, but that's the name of his business, if I believe. Is that the name of the YouTube channel?
I believe so.
So you definitely have to go check him out if you like what he has to say. If you don't like what he has to say, I don't know. I couldn't imagine being a dog trainer because that's got to be one of those jobs where, again, everyone's got their opinion. It's like chickens. And I think we do pretty well, but we got our folks out there on YouTube, our YouTube chicken police.
And Brady's got an interesting background, so you can talk to him about
One of my questions, yes. I can't wait to hear about his background, what got him into it, and all that kind of stuff. So, again, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. If you don't have any questions, please say hi. Let us know where you're watching from. As they say down in the South, smash. I don't get it. Smash that subscribe button. Smash that share button. I know. That's what mash. Mash. See, I don't even got it right.
Yeah, I think we're too old for that.
I don't know. Please share the show. That helps so much with promoting the show because this is brought to you for free. Well, technically not free, but thank you to Carolina Coops. All right. Also, before we get started, yes, I am rocking the Do Not Peck on Me. I do not have a hole in my chest. Let's see. It's just that there's green grass. I know we went back and forth. Do we not? Da-da-da. I'm just at the point I'm done. I'm so done. I'm going to pretend I'm done trying to make everyone happy and not offend everyone. But I am very proud of this shirt. They are for sale. Ingrid has done a phenomenal job. She's got all the merch now officially, right? Up on the website that we currently have in our arsenal.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. I thought it'd be
Just in time to add some more.
We talked about something today. So this morning, we got about 3 more minutes before we bring Brady on. I wanted to mention a couple things. We had an interesting visitor this morning. He was a doctor from down in Durham. He came up to buy some hemp, and he also bought a chicken guard. And I feel as if the flock shop is officially born. And we haven't talked about the flock shop in years, but Nan's dream, and hopefully Nan is there. I think she's doing some training right now, but Nan is usually in her office ready to chime in on the mic. But it was really cool to have a visitor, and I think the flock shop is born.
Did you get a checkup while he was here?
I tried. He was in his scrubs, and of course I'm like, okay, I got to ask, what kind of doctor are you? Because I could tell he was a doctor, even though he's just in scrubs.
Can you
And
tell me about the spot?
we talked about that actually. And
What kind
he
of
go-
doctor was he?
Orthopedics.
Oh.
But he does bone breakage and trauma. So I'm like, I bet he sees some cool stuff.
If you think that's cool. So Mike Trapp said Gus is a boy's dog, big, messy, and lovable.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it true? You pick your dog kind of like how you are. Also, before I forget, I'm not sure how long we're going to have Brady on the show. I'll have to ask him how much time he's going to give us. But I want to make sure, and Ingrid, I appreciate it. You're a good mind reader. I love it. I want to put the word out there. I want to do a contest. I would love if someone or everyone submit your best picture, your best work of your chicken, your hen, your adult hen, using one of our water bars. because we're in need of that perfect picture.
Yeah. And a side view would be best.
Well, whatever.
Would be best.
The reason for it is so that we can finish our damn artwork on the water bars, like we did the rope wrap roost bars.
Yeah, make your chicken a star.
Exactly.
They could be the beak of Carolina Coops.
So what I would love to do is just submit the pictures to Ingrid, Ingrid at carolinacoops.com, right? Mm-hmm. And then Ingrid will bring those pictures in. But, all right, it is 12:15. Are we ready for Brady?
I think we
are.
are.
All right, let's bring Brady Foster in from Boca Raton,
You
Florida.
guys are going to have to smush together.
Oh, that's right. Well,
So you
Which
guys-
direction?
Whatever you want.
well, I don't know. Let's bring Brady on to the left. How's that sound? There he is. How you doing this
Okay.
morning, Brady?
I got to unmute
Well,
him.
let's make sure we unmute him. Now, we did notice when we were doing our pregame is a little laggy, but the audio looks good.
How can I not? Here, help me out, Matt, with your mouse.
Oh, no, I'm not allowed to touch the mouse. Let's see. What do you got going on here, Ingrid?
Nothing.
Hold on,
Just-
Brady.
he's muted.
We don't hear you yet. Let's get you unmuted. And
There you go.
all right, Brady.
How's it going?
Good morning. Oh, that sounds good. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Video Chicken Live. As you already know, we are a chicken show to educate our viewers. And the whole idea is we're in the chicken coop business, so we want to educate people so they know, oh, wow, we know why Carolina Coops builds the coops the way they do. And as I was saying in our beginning of the show, that we've been wanting to bring a professional dog trainer on for a while. And I can't thank you enough for being here. Again, if you're just joining us, I met Brady down in Florida. Do you remember us talking?
I do. I do.
You're very memorable, Matt.
What's that? Is that good or bad?
It was both. That.
So, Brady, thank you for being here. And thank you. I know that you sent some videos, so I wanted to bring them up. But I'd love to go ahead and get started. And it looks like the audience is, oh, yeah, we're getting up there. Beautiful. So, Canine Gunner Tactical, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So, love to ask you, how did you even get into dog training?
I did a active duty tour in the Marine Corps, and that's when I first got exposed to the canines and the working capacity of them, and how much abilities they do have. And that's when I got kind of hooked and kind of drew me in. And then when I got out, I went to college, and then when I graduated college, I started doing executive protection agent, essentially a bodyguard for a high net worth family, and I had a dog on the job there. And then I started training dogs on the side because I truly enjoyed. I've always loved animals. I've always was the kid that would always bring home dogs from the shelter and get yelled at by my mom and dad. So I always had like a niche for dogs. I've always loved animals. So I started my own company, quit my full-time job, and the rest is history from there. It's been a ride, and it's been amazing. We used to be up north, and this is where all the chickens come into our life, was up in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and that's where we got involved or got exposed to chickens on our property, because we had to have a property that was for tax reasons. We had to do something in the farm space, and chickens seemed to be the easiest when we started researching it. It would classify us to, have that tax exemption. So that's how I started getting involved with chickens. That was my first experience with chickens, and I knew nothing, to the point where I was super surprised that I couldn't believe they came in the mail.
Right. Oh, absolutely. So, okay, well, that answers one of my other questions. I couldn't remember. I remember you showing me a video on your phone saying, oh, yeah, I've trained a dog to not chase chickens, if I remember correctly. But I couldn't remember if they were your chickens, if you have any experience with chickens. So that just made this show that much better. So we have and it's okay if I call you a professional dog trainer. If you get paid to do it, that makes you a professional, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
And you have chickens. How long have you had chickens? How many chickens you have?
So I don't have the chickens anymore. We moved down to Boca Raton, and down here I don't have land for chicken. If I did, I'd be a very wealthy man. But we had about 18 chickens when we lived up north, and they got dropped on us, in in a little box, and that was, I mean, we went online and started, designer chicken. Like, what do we want? It was like we were ordering, some type of. It was just a whole weird experience with the whole ordering of chickens. I don't know. People who've never done it before, have never been exposed to it. It was blown away. Like, we were like trying to search like what chickens do well with other chickens, what chickens are cool looking chickens. Like, it was just a very neat experience with, reading up on everything. So we had those up north.
Yeah, I absolutely love when we're selling coops and people ask, well, where do I get my chickens? And there's so many great options out there. And I would not be scared of buying chickens through the mail. It has been very successful. I know COVID got ugly with the USPS. It was nasty, but you can definitely order your chickens online. There's huge advantages to that. So that's awesome. So I want to get right into it. You showed me this video, and then Ingrid, whenever you're ready, you want to bring that up. I would love for you to tell me, what's going on here. This is where I kind of left off the conversation with you with, a great video too. Beautiful chickens. Are those yours?
Those are our chickens there, right next to our main house. That's in the view right now to the upper right hand of the screen there. So we built this, we had a coop built, brought in, and then a little fenced area around it. But on that backside of the mountain there, that's where, we get a lot of black bear, we get a lot of coyotes, we get a lot of predators that come down. And we had 26 acres there. So on the north side of that property, looking up, that wood line spans for acres and acres and acres and acres. So it's not like there's just another behind us. There's tons of someone else's acreage behind their house backed up to us. So there's a lot of property up there. So what we were really afraid of is we've heard things coming down, predators coming down, eating the chickens, making sure they get put up at night, things that you can do to deter these, predators from coming down. But Waylon, this is our personal dog. Waylon comes from a lab kennel, Southern Oak Kennels in Mississippi, and they're very, 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 very well-known hunting dogs, and they breed some of the best hunting dogs, in my opinion, in the United States. They have waiting lists up to like a year and a half, 2 years for dogs. So his hunt lines are very, very, very strong, and most people would never even think about putting a dog with that amount of drive around chickens. And in that video, he's probably like 7 months old, 6, 7 months old. But that's not how it started off. I started off making mistakes with him and getting him exposed to chickens, and there are very rookie mistakes, and which
please tell us about that, because I know there's gonna be a lot of people that have probably made the same mistakes, and that's ultimately what I would really love to get your opinion on. Is if you have chickens already and let's rephrase that. Let's flip it. It's usually I can't get chickens, Matt, because I have a dog. I would love to, if you could, just honestly speak to that from your experience. What would you tell those people? Because again, we want to share the word that having chickens is one of the best hobbies in the world, and it's extremely easy as long as you got the right coop. But I can understand, these dogs, and correct me if I'm wrong anywhere, we bred these dogs to do a certain job, when you think about that. And I remember you telling me that, especially with dogs that are meant to chase, when they're like hunting dogs, that how are you going to break that? But I would love to, if you could, talk about your experience and maybe speak to those people that say, well, I got a dog, but there's no way I can have chickens.
So one, you have to look at, your setup with your dog at home and your expectations that you have for your dog at home. Is your dog ready for that higher level of training and obedience to actually bring in such a high level of a distraction such as chickens? And then the answer is no. Then you need to work on the training aspect first and then bring on the chickens, because it's not fair to the dog and it's not fair to the chickens if the dog's not ready for it or you're not ready for it. And that's with anything. That's whether you're getting chickens, getting another dog, whatever it may be that you're adding to your pack, the dog has to be at a certain point in its obedience, behaviors, that when you're asking it to do something, and I'm not talking about when you're asking it to do something in a sterile environment, like sitting inside your house. Yeah, my dog listens to me. It's super well behaved. And then as soon as you go outside, my dog doesn't really listen that well. It's, it'd rather do X or Z. It'd rather go chase the squirrel. Well, I can promise you, if you can't, control your dog around a random squirrel, controlling your dog around a flock of excited chickens, when that dog starts to go into prey mode, you're not going to be able to control that dog. So the step one is having a good foundation with obedience with your dog, and then really asking yourself, are we ready to introduce chickens? Doing introduction of chickens and then doing obedience is not the way to do it. You have to have your level of obedience at some point where you're ready to almost challenge your team to go to that extra mile with something like chickens.
Okay, so let's say we feel we have that dog that's pretty obedient, okay? What would be the next step then? Okay, so do you get the chickens, you raise them, and then, we often talk a lot about just introducing new chickens to an existing flock. In this case, we're talking about a dog to a new flock. What would be those steps? What would be some of those pro tips you would give someone when it does come time to introduce the dog to the flock?
So we have to have, really good, proper, easily communicative measures in place already. How do we communicate with our dog? How do we communicate positive things that the dog's doing, that they're doing well, that we're able to mark those behaviors? And when they're doing something incorrectly, how are we marking those things? And does the dog value your correction when it comes to you saying, hey, don't do that? Or do they give you the bird and go, nope, F off, I'm going to do what I want?
Right.
And that's a problem. That's a real safety issue for those new, chickens inside that, coop area. The other thing is going to be, making sure that your dog's really good on a leash, because all this training is going to start off on leash. I don't invite anything off leash, especially with things like chickens, because what does a chicken do as soon as it feels like it's trapped? It freaks out and it wants to, get away from that area. So if your dog, takes the chicken in the corner by itself, it's going to try to take flight and try to freak out to get it out of that situation when it feels stressed out. Well, that's going to excite that dog and put it into a prey mode. If you don't have a means to control that dog, i.e. a leash, I'm telling you, you're going to start teaching the dog, or the dog is actually teaching itself, how fun chickens can be. And that's not what we want, because they become like these really great squeaky toys that freak out when you chase them.
That's such a great point. All right, so don't let your chicken be a reward to the dog. And again, you got to think about a dog. Because a lot of times I love when people think dogs are humans. They're not. I don't think you have a chance in hell being successful, having a good relationship with a dog if you don't understand dog behavior. And I know that's a whole nother story. I
also like that he's, you want to set the dog up for success. You want to set the whole situation up for success. And to just assume that I can have him off leash in front of a flock of birds and he'll listen to me, it's just setting him not up for success.
Right.
So that's something that Brady is really big on, which I love.
Yeah, me too. It makes sense. It just makes sense. But I think those are probably those rookie mistakes that we make. We get impatient. We underestimate maybe what the behavior of the dog is. And so, Brady, one of the things I'll never forget what you telling me is it's that quick movement, that fast movement that just must flip a switch into that prey mode, if you will. And I imagine that if that's the case, what is, I know it's probably hard to explain it over on a show, but are there any things that our listeners can take from you to help identify, well, let's say, how would you combat that, some practices to train the quickness?
What I would do from the start is, if we do have a coop that is confined in an area, like with chicken wire, where the chickens are confined and they're not just free roaming chickens on the homestead, what I would say that you would do is use that barrier of that chicken wire as like your limited advance. So I know that the chickens aren't going to come any closer to us than the chicken fence, right? So I can use that as a way for training. So I don't even start the dogs off in the coop, or the coop area, the fenced-in area. I start away from it. So distance is going to be everything. So the closer we are to the chickens, it's going to be more stressful or more enticing for the dog to want to be distracted by the chickens. So if we can start working the dog with simple obedience behaviors, whether it's playing fetch or just simple walking on a leash near the kennel or by the coop area, I can now go, all right, I'm going to be 10 feet from the kennel, the chicken wire. I'm going to be, okay, the dog cannot focus. It can't even look at me when I'm asking it to do things. I'm asking the dog to face me with its back towards the chickens, and it can't even do that at 15 feet. So we're going to move to 20 feet. So when we start to use gauge of where that dog is, where eventually that dog is going to start to understand the value is not the chickens, is the value's us. That's going to be how I start most the dogs off around the coops, is around distance work, with a leash, doing some type of obedience work with some type of food reward, some type of high value reward for giving me the attention and not being distracted by the chickens. And that would be step one, in my opinion, and not just going straight into the coop. The thing I don't like doing right out of the gate is a lot of people, like, they do the same thing with babies. They take this newborn baby and they like shove it in the dog's face and like, look, like I'm not a fan of that. I'm more of the leadership role where this is mine, this is my chicken, this is my baby. This is just off limits for you to mess with. This off limits for you to play with. You're going to coexist together, but you're never going to be at a higher pecking order than this item here. And you're going to realize that by just how I interact with this thing and interact with you, and how you're not going to interact with this. So I do that with babies. Like, I have a brand new newborn baby on the deck. It just was born 2 weeks ago. Even though I know my dogs are good with kids, the first thing I do is don't like come home and like, look, sniff it. Like, no. We're going to build understanding, like, yeah, I have my space. The baby has his space, and you're going to respect that space until I invite you into our personal space. That's not done when you want. So I would do the same aspect for chickens, and I'm not in the camp of, showing it and letting it like explore with it freely. I'm more open to that idea when it comes to puppies, with more guidance, because things can go less south with puppies, where behavior's a lot quicker. The consequences of something going bad is a lot less than an adult dog. If they, get spooked, or they get reactive, or they just get excited and want to nip. Those are things that we can kind of mitigate with it being a puppy and the size of it, where we can help guide a lot more. So those things might be more, closer in proximity at first when it comes to training.
Gotcha. Okay, so great advice. Distance, step one. If you're just joining us, we are live. It is August 2nd, 2022. Welcome to Video Chicken.
September 2nd.
God, September. I can't get August out of my head. I'm sorry.
August is over.
I don't want to admit it's September already. I
calendar
tell
up
you,
here.
we are in the time of year with our business where now it's all crap. That's a whole nother story. So yeah, you're right. I'm refusing to admit it's September. We have Brady Foster from Canine Gunner Tactical, who's a professional dog trainer, who's also a previous chicken owner. I met him down in Florida one day, had a great talk, asked him, would you be willing to come on the show? Thank God. I'm so happy he remembers us. If you have any questions for Brady, please let us know. I see a bunch of comments coming in, so that is awesome. We are here talking about, one of the questions we get all the time is, can I have a dog and chickens together? And I'm going to say yes. I have always said, and Ingrid's going to argue with me, and she might be right. I don't know. I believe you can train a dog to just about do anything, but you might have to train differently or whatever, but you do have to be able to recognize what that dog is saying to you. And I think that if you don't recognize that dog language, you're doomed. And I can see that Brady's mentioning that, because even when you're coming up, if that dog it's just like a kid, if they're distracted, like, oh, let me go, and they're not listening to you, which maybe worked when there wasn't the distraction. Well, there you go. They're not ready yet. And that just makes sense. Approach slowly. Now, I also would like to mention, wow, another check in the box for the positive reason to have a run attached to your hen house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're going to introduce a puppy or a dog, another great reason to have a run on your chicken coop. So awesome. So Brady, again, thank you so much for being here. Are there any questions yet before we get into step two? I'm assuming there's a step two.
Maureen just asked, would you ever use a training collar?
Ooh, training collar. And there's all kinds of different training collars, and that's a touchy subject. And I tell you, there's times I don't like it. I think people use it wrong.
Yes.
So There's obviously, with anything we do in dog training, there's 1,000 different ways to do it, and there's 1,000 different options out there to do it. When it comes to training collars, there's tons on the market that are available to you. The best thing I always do with everyone is, one, you have to find a trainer in your local area or online to be able to link up with, to teach you how to introduce these things properly and when to introduce these things. Just because they're available for you to buy doesn't mean you've seen this guy on YouTube use this, let's just say this e-collar, the shot collar, and the dog's perfect. And then you get it and you think all you got to do is put it on the dog and it understands it or will get that. Unfortunately, when it comes to training tools, if we're not using them correctly and depending on the dog, we can run the risk of actually building a negative association to something that we're getting the dog to want to like, right? So the dog is reactive or barking, maybe excitedly, nervously at chickens. And then we get this new nifty training collars because you saw this YouTube video on it. And next thing you know, the first time you're exposing it is around this chicken. Now the dog thinks this chicken just made this happen. I really don't like this thing now. And I'm 10 times more nervous with this chicken than I was before. And in our head, we're trying to think, oh no, we're going to correct the behavior because we're telling it no and it understands what's going on. And it's so far from the truth. It's bad because we're actually building a negative association to the chicken, which is going to be very hard to undo. And eventually that dog is probably going to end up hurting a chicken to try to turn off that pressure.
And also, Brady,
Interesting.
I will agree that also kind of hurts the trust building that you do when you train with a dog, because that's one of the things that is a huge benefit from any kind of dog training, whether it's just basic obedience or training it to be around people or chickens or babies, is the trust bond you have with your dog. And the more you do that, the more you build that bond. Correct?
Yep. So if you follow us, or if you do start following us, we're real big on bond and relationship. Build a bond, build trust, build your team. That's our slogan. That's what we live by. Whether we're training a dog, we've trained, we're very well known for aggression rehab dogs that have ripping off body parts off humans, lips, whatever have you. We've seen it. And building that relationship is super important for us before introducing any type of corrections in training. As you see here in this video, this is Waylon the puppy. This is probably like 4 months old. This was with kids at a soccer field, and starting off as a puppy, we want the dog to start realizing where our values from. I want him to be neutral with everything in the environment but me. I want his focus to be with me no matter what's going on. Whether the kids are wanting to pet, I want his focus to be with me. He can check in with things, kids, say hi, whatever, but that's not where the excitement and fun comes from. We do train with food. We train with the dog's allotment of food for the day. We bring that value to our relationship of giving that attention to us. And that does pay dividends over time with the dogs. Most people think it's real cute to have the puppy say hi to everyone and say hi to do things in the environment. But I think that just becomes a huge distraction as the dog gets older, because what you say, which most clients say to me, is my dog doesn't care about me when we go out. My dog ignores me. It's more concerned about this random person who just came up that wants to pet it. Why? Because you built the dog to be what I call a pet whore. It literally looks for every opportunity.
That's Gus.
To go seek value.
Oh, that is so my dog. That is so funny.
So that comes through building relationships with dogs. And that's what's going to be important with going into challenging your dog around chickens, is what's the value relationship between the two of you? Does it look at you as someone who's more of like a leader, who it's looking towards when it's stressed and looking forward towards guidance? And when you do correct it, if you give it like a no correction or, hey, let's not do that, do they value that correction of you saying it, or they kind of not listen to you? And those are things that I would need to work on first prior to exposing it to chickens.
So I wanted to see and talk real quick about the step 2, but I see another question coming up, and this is a question I have on my list. So I'm gonna bring this up right now because I don't want to forget. And it's already 12:39. If you're just joining us, I see the audience is still building. Thank you so much. We are live. It is September 2nd, 2022. We have Brady from Boca Raton, Florida, live right now. He is the owner of a Canine Gunner Tactical. And if you have any questions for him when it comes to chickens and dogs, please leave them in the comment section. But the question I can't wait to ask, I'm just going to mention it now because I want people to know, I'm going to ask it. If you had to pick your best breed, your favorite breed for protecting your flock, is there one? So Brady, we're going to get to that. I can't wait to get to that question. And maybe there isn't one.
Look at those faces.
I don't know, but I know that's a question we also get a lot. Can I have chickens with dogs? Or if I'm going to get a dog, which one should I have? So
And that's what I would ask.
I can't wait to get to that. So Brady did tell us step 1. If you are going to introduce your dog to the flock, distance. All right, in a nutshell.
If you're gradually move towards where they're not.
Right. If you didn't catch it.
Well, I would take a step back from that based on what he said. You have to work on your relationship with your dog first.
Yeah.
Before you even go outside.
Right.
That is correct.
Yeah, and
that
then
is
you go outside and work the perimeter, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. So I would say step 1 is going to be how are you communicating with your dog? And in the chicken world, I trained my rooster when I had it. I did clicker training with my rooster. Mm-hmm. So I called it my cock training, and
brilliant. Well done.
Oh God! Now we're gonna get the porn sites,
Here comes
Brady.
the porn link. Sorry.
And what we do is we use the clicker for marking behaviors that we want the dog to do. And a lot of dog trainers seek these trainers overseas who they pay to go to literally do clicker training with a chicken. So the entire dog training course is with a chicken, where it's all about timing and communication through a clicker to get a chicken to do certain behaviors on a table. If you can do that, you can master training a chicken, you can master training a puppy or dogs. Mm-hmm. So we're really big on using clickers for communication, and that's a whole different, dissecting that. And we have video links on our YouTube page of how we use our clickers and how to introduce a clicker to your dog for the first time. Again, those are all free on our YouTube page.
Okay, hold on.
Very
all right.
interesting.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, we'll
Pump the
link on
brakes
that.
for a second. Hold on. My mind has just been blown. And I think I recall, I don't know if this was a conversation I had with you, Brady, or if it was someone else. I'm just remembering now, someone telling me there's actually a program. It was here in Durham. It was when we did the documentary of the guy from Latvia or whatever. He came over.
Latvia, but yeah.
Latvia.
Croatia.
No, it was Latvia.
No, it wasn't.
I'll promise
that
you it was
even
Latvia.
exist?
I
It
will
was
bet you.
LTV. I'll put money on it. Latvia.
I'll put money in. It's Croatia.
Okay, anyways, he's here doing a documentary on backyard chickens in America.
So we need a calendar and a map.
And one of them was that he went down to Durham where they're training dog trainers, and they started with chickens.
Yeah. Chickens are extremely motivated, so they're not that hard to train.
Right. Okay. So there's that whole world. I forgot about that. And then number 2,
It's huge.
talk about a T-shirt. I train my cock. That is brilliant. That is absolutely
You're
brilliant.
gonna have to give Brady a cut.
We're gonna have to do a whole nother show on that, because I'll guarantee you people are like, oh my God, I want to train my cock. Here we go. Oh, speaking of roosters, cocks.
I'm getting a clicker.
Oh, well, you have 2 of them. You didn't tell me. Hold on. Oh, this is where everything's about.
There's chickens in the back.
They're
my
purse.
chickens.
They're purse chickens.
Yeah,
Brady.
here we go. Purse chick. Oh no, you have another one.
What?
Were you gonna break it out later?
That's
Oh yeah,
a full-grown little
a
rooster.
full-grown rooster.
Isn't he
Our-
Is
cute?
he gonna crow?
our Chickenista here. You won't believe the surprises she'll pull out of a bag when you leave. And you have another one down in
He
there.
had to have his girlfriend for the
God.
ride.
Oh, so we're not gonna show the girlfriend?
I want to see the other one.
Okay. All right. Well, no. Let's hold on. We're gonna bring up.
I truly thought I've seen it all.
Oh no.
No, not until you. Okay, well, here she is.
I mean,
So,
a perch.
no, well, you should probably flip. No, they'll probably tip over. Okay. Well,
right,
and for the people that are not live, or well, the people that are listening to this later after we are live now. If you're listening right now, you are live now. But the people that listen to the podcast miss the opportunity to see what is going on right now. And of course, Kristen once
I
again
just pulled some chickens out of my
pulled a
purse.
chicken. Yeah, who
That's all right.
doesn't?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
doesn't? All
But
right.
I'm getting a clicker, that's for sure.
I train my cock. That is a T-shirt all day long.
well,
Okay.
I pulled my cock out of my purse.
Okay, so not bad at all.
I can't believe Kristen said that.
Yeah, all
I
right.
don't think I did.
All right, so it's actually already 12:44. So I would love to. Okay, so step one is not distance, but we're gonna go back. He did say that, but I would agree.
Yes.
Brady did say though the first thing to do is establish that you can maybe you're ready to train your dog. Okay, and then
We're
I said
assuming we have a good communication network with your
exactly,
dog prior to
exactly.
this.
So after we establish that, we think, okay, I'm ready to train my dog. Then what do I do? And okay, so step one, distance and recognize all that. So we talked about that, and that was awesome advice. What would be then? I'm just gonna say step two. Okay, your dog's is like coming up to the hen house, coming up to the run. I'm assuming we're looking for a dog that obeys what you say, reacts to everything you say, and that's telling you, okay, I got control of the situation. Now let's maybe check the next level, and if so, what would that be, or what is step two?
So with step one, with introduction outside the coop and doing all that stuff, we're going to also introduce a place location, the ability for a dog to stay on a perch like these beautiful hens are doing. Hens, what are they?
It's a
Roosters.
male and a female. Remember, I brought
You
his
sure?
girlfriend.
Did they identify? Did they tell you? Hey,
This is true. So it's literally like a place board. So this one's a raised one. The higher the place location, the easier it is for the dog to maintain it, because it's a little bit more difficult for the dog to come off of it than if it's just like a piece of carpet on the ground. Place location. This is a place location called by Momarsh. It's called their final stand. It is a hunting stand that is put in marsh. So it raises the dog out of the water, and those legs extend to even go up higher. So the dog doesn't have to sit in cold water when you're hunting. But I use them for duration work with the dog. Duration work with the dogs are super important to be able to build your dog's impulse control for them to do nothing but just hang out on their place location. When the dog's doing phenomenal with that, then you can start adding distractions around them, or bringing them into the coop with you. You can bring them into the coop with you on leash when you go let out your chickens, where they're nice and close to you, where they're doing just a little bit of exploring away from you, or you can also include the place location inside your coop, so the dog has its location while you're doing things and the chickens are moving around them. We are building that understanding that you need to leave these things alone. They're not of value to you, and do what you do, whatever that may be. Sit here or walk with me, or ignore the chickens, or just hang out. Biggest thing that you need to do is make sure the dog is able to not go after the chickens, and if it does attempt to, we're able to stop the dog from doing it.
So place is the first and strongest command you have to get.
yeah, what a bunch of great
Yeah.
tips, and it just makes sense. I love when things just make sense. And the higher you go, the harder it is for them to jump off. So you're really motivating them, probably without them really realizing it. That makes great sense. And it's called a duration. So the duration you're referring to, that they stay there for a duration of time. I'm assuming so. Place locator, and then introduce those things that should possibly trigger them. And as long as they stay there, no, that's a great way to learn. Don't go into chase, because it's obviously being up higher is a little bit more difficult for them. So you're setting them up for success, right?
And you have to also, what Brady is explaining too, is that it's more valuable for the dog to stay in place than it is to chase the chickens, because of the bond that you have for him.
Yeah.
So there's more value for the dog to do that.
Outstanding. All right.
I would think place and leave it would probably be big around chickens.
Right. Okay. So it's already 12:48. Our audience is continuing to grow. So again, I just want to mention we are live. It is September 2nd, 2022. We have Brady Foster from Canine Gunner Tactical live right here. A gentleman I met down in Florida. Hopefully we're going to be back in Florida this winter. I'm hoping to get away. I tell you, one of the best things about traveling is just crossing paths with people, and I
Meeting
remember,
people.
yeah, it is one of the best things. If you are ever thinking about, you know what, I'm just gonna sell everything, I'm gonna go get a camper, I'm gonna go travel, it is one of the best things. I tell you, one of the things you may never realize is when you pull over into a Walmart parking lot, you're like, screw it, I'm gonna stay the night here. It's actually pretty darn cool. But anyways, that's the whole world of camping. So if you have any questions for a professional dog trainer when it comes to chickens, and I'm so glad to hear, and I don't remember that he actually had chickens, so that just makes us even better. So would there be a step 3 that we can go into next?
I mean, step 3 would be more of the off leash or a drag leash, where the dog's able to roam freely when you're letting out the chickens, feeding the chickens, cleaning the coops type of stuff, where the dog's able to do his thing and start to have a little bit more ability to make a mistake, and not be so, handcuffed to you, where you're not physically allowing him to learn. So every dog's going to make a mistake. They're always going to get corrected at some point. Your levels of corrections are going to change with each dog. I look at it just like kids. My corrections for my daughter are much different than my corrections for my son. If I look at my daughter, and raise my voice, she's, dead for a week and a half. If I do that to my son, he looks like I have 10 heads and I didn't do anything. So the value of correction needs to be, understood and warranted by that dog. And so that's just knowing your dog and what works. And people are like, well, what's a correction? Again, every dog's going to be different. One of them could just be a verbal correction. Hey, let's not do that. Nice stern correction. Some dogs need a little bit more pop on the leash. There's other means of corrections out there. If it's been introduced away from the stimuli, so in a neutral environment, if I ask the dog to sit inside and it doesn't, what form of correction are we using to start to communicate with the dog? Like, hey, I asked you to do something, let's do it. So those forms of corrections are always introduced away from things that the dogs are having issues with.
Okay, so I think so that makes perfect sense. So there's 3 steps of the. So we just started playing. I wanted to jump to another video. We have about 10 minutes before we hit the 1 o'clock. Brady, I'm assuming I still have a couple more minutes with you.
You got all the time you want.
Oh, you're the man. Thank you so much. So again, if you're just joining us, it is September 2nd, 2022. We are live with Brady, a professional dog trainer. I just want to share a real quick story that I think maybe Brady will appreciate. And another little, probably one of the coolest things. My dad has got stories like you wouldn't believe. Every time I see my dad, I'm like, I can't believe I'm just now at 43 years old finding out about this. My dad, when he was in Vietnam, he was a grunt. He got shot at. They threw grenades at him. He was the real deal, and he's, it's just nuts. So with that said, first I want to say, Brady, thank you for your service, and I want to share this story because I think you'll appreciate it and everyone else. My dad trained 2 puppies when he was in Vietnam. He bought them a candy bar each from a local Vietnamese kid, if I remember the story correctly, and he trained one to sniff out. He named them WP, white phosphorus. And he trained the other one, Brady, maybe you'll know what I'm getting at because I don't remember. But he was able to train his 2 puppies that he kept in his rucksack to smell out these explosives. And I was very successful with it. I love that story because, one, it's my dad. That's badass. I'm going to buy 2 puppies with candy bars. And these dogs, I say about it with Gus, oh, he's slobbering. Oh, he's hairy. I bet you that dog has already saved our life and we don't even know it. Dogs are just awesome. And it's probably one of the biggest reasons why I'm a dog lover. And I just love when there is that relationship between animal and man for a good thing, in this case, the dogs. So speaking of that, I mentioned a little while ago, a question that I've been dying to ask, and I'm sure there's not one blanket answer or whatever, but people are asking all the time, and I would love to know, if I was going to go out and get a dog that I said, I want to be very successful for protecting my flock, and there's some breeds we hear about a lot, and I'm not exactly sure why, but it's a common breed we hear a lot, and I've seen it with my own eyes, protecting a cock farm, actually not far from here, and boy, that dog did a good job. But Brady, if someone came to you and said, Brady, I want to get a dog that's going to protect my flock. My chickens are going to free range. I got your normal property. What would you suggest?
Well, I think that answer is going to depend on where you live, and what the job of the dog actually is going to be. Is it going to be a homestead dog that lives outside all the time? I'm not going to put a lab outside in the freezing cold, icy winters. You're going to need something that's a little bit more can withstand those low temperatures and be able to sustain for long periods of time outside by itself. So I think a lot of that depends on where you live and what you're asking of the dog. And then from there, if it's solely going to be used for the homestead, just like I tell people who need service dogs, I I buy the dogs that are for the job. I rescue dogs. I love people that rescue dogs. I think it's amazing. But when your one purpose is for some type of workability, you go and purchase that workability, period. Because you're talking about the genetics, temperament, everything that you need to have as much as you have the ability to pick. And even though it could go left, it could go right after you get the puppy, it could not all, it doesn't work out, but you're setting that dog up for success, where it's not fair to some people asking dogs to do certain tasks that it should never be doing. It's not comfortable doing the task, and you're forcing the dog through a lot of pressure in your training. That's not fair. So you need to get the right dog for the right job. So I think doing your research and making sure that you are talking to breeders and explain to them what exactly you're looking for the dog to do, but always knowing that doesn't mean the dog's going to do it. You have to continue doing that training and setting the dog up for success throughout the young puppyhood of the dog. And I always say get a puppy when it comes to that.
Okay, so Brady, if you ever want a future career in politics, you're on the right track. We couldn't
Well
get the
said.
we can't get the exact answer out of him, but that is great advice, because that kind of reminds me of us. People ask us all the time, what kind of chickens should I get? What's the best breed for egg production? What's the friendliest? You can't really answer that, but it's easier to answer. Here's what you want to think about. So that makes perfect sense. Where are you going to be? And I do agree with that. And again, I love people that rescue dogs. My goal when I have my farm again, I love when you can rescue a bunch of dogs, put them in a pack, roam free, just kind of be dogs. All right. When you got the area for it, you don't want to go get a border collie and stick them in an apartment when that dog just wants to run and hurt. You know what I mean? I had to grow up with collies. I hated it. That dog would always hurt the car. I'm like, oh dear Lord. Anyways, so I agree with that. Okay, if you're going to get a dog for a specific reason, you have that opportunity to pick. And that I feel that's what I did with Gus. I mean, I picked Gus because I needed a guard dog, and he is a hell of a natural guard dog. He probably would never hurt a fly. But my God, I didn't have to train him to guard. And they just know. There's every once in a blue moon, someone will come here, and Gus does not like him. Gus loves everyone. But it's crazy just that sense dogs have, or you go to approach our vehicle. We don't have to lock our doors. Windows are all the way down. You won't go near that truck, I promise you. I tried to bribe some people. I want to see what happens. Not paying for the stitches, but I want to see what happens if you reach in that truck. So that is great advice. I hope that answers everyone's question out there.
I mean, the big thing with the dogs is, when we're talking about, protection of a flock, we want a dog wants to bark. Having a dog on homestead that is vocal, that's important. Having a dog that wants to mark territory, who wants to piss all over the surrounding area, that's going to warn off predators that come in at nighttime and start smelling those scents of that, that other predator that may lurk behind, another tree, a bush. And then the sound of, it being a confident dog. When it sees something, does it alert? Does it want to, challenge that predator coming into your pack? Or does it go, oh shit, what is that? I'm going to hightail it and go to the house. That's a problem. That's not a homestead dog that you want. So not every dog fits the bill. For those things. And that's why it's important to make sure that you're doing your homework and you're getting the right dog for that.
So,
naysayers that say, oh, you can't train a shepherd to do that. You can't train a Belgian Malinois to do that. Those dogs are, born to chase and hunt and track down and capture and all that. I sent you guys video of a Belgian Malinois doing, detection, drug work around goats. That dog is being distracted by other dogs, being distracted by goats, I'm throwing food around the little boxes so it can see the so the goats start eating around the little detection boxes. You can, if when you have the right dog, the right communication network with that dog, and the right valued to that relationship, that dog will do anything. This is not video. This is just two strangers walking up asking me what I was doing. I was doing retrieval work.
Yeah, I wanted to
But
show
you can
that.
see, my example is the dog doesn't just jump down and go say hi to these people, and I walk about 50 feet to the other way. This is exposure to gunfire with Waylon and a police dog. Whether you're on a homestead that you're shooting, that you want your dog to be neutral to gunfire, there's a proper way to do it and an improper way to do it. You want your dog to, be neutral to sounds such as gunfire and things like that, and not get excited or get scared of it. So again, neutrality to the environment is important no matter what the environment contains, whether it's chickens, whether it's gunfire, whether it's strangers, whatever it may be. I want the dog to not be fazed by it, and that again starts at a young age, where I can control those things. And the same thing with gunfire, we do distance work at first. We bring it from a far distance and bring it closer, just like we do with the chickens. Distance first, bring it closer. We don't just start right up on the firing line with that dog.
It makes good sense. So Brady, I thank you so much for that. If we can, it is 1:00, and I would love to now, Ingrid. I haven't hardly even looked at the questions and comments coming in, but I thought if you wanted to pick a couple, Brady is willing to answer some questions from our viewers. I definitely appreciate it. If you're just joining us, this is Brady Foster from Canine Gunner Tactical. He has his own YouTube channel, and I can tell you, we have our own YouTube channel. And one of the greatest things you can do for someone that has a YouTube channel, go subscribe, go hit that notifications bell, support these channels. We actually work hard to build this audience, and it's difficult. It's difficult, and I'm so thankful that we have Ingrid on our team that's helped grow our YouTube channel. So please, Brady, thank you so much for being here, and our audience.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you've gained something from him. Please go support him, and Instagram. I believe he has an Instagram channel as well.
And I will put all the links on our on the YouTube live stream that will just live on our YouTube channel to Brady's YouTube and his website and his Instagram, so you can all follow and.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to do kind of a rapid fire. I know it's not easy.
I don't have a lot of questions. I think
There's
you
more
went
comments.
to them.
Well, one of them was, okay, I saw a question come up, says, well, how do I get my chickens to stop pecking my dog?
The dog's butt was
Dog's
actually-
butt.
That was.
Yeah.
That's more of training the chicken, right?
That's in your guys' realm. Listen, I'm gonna
click.
softball that one back to you.
I think that chicken is hungry and is pecking.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me
up the wrong tree.
That
there.
reminds me last Thursday when we were doing a test run on the call-in section that someone says, well, how do I train my hens to stop chasing my cock, my roosters, or rooster,
It's
whatever he
mean to
said.
the rooster,
It was
yeah.
mean to the roosters. Yeah, I guess that would be on us. I don't know.
Yeah. So Danielle has a question. She's like, do you think it's possible to train a bird dog to not eat chickens? My dog is 6 years old and no longer hunts birds, but did at one time. So the dog, that's what the dog did.
So from an early age, that dog, to Waylon, that lab in that video is a hunting dog. It has never been on a live hunt before, but the genetics are there. Like, he came out at 8 weeks old wanting to chase things down and bring it back. I mean, that's what they're wired to do. What I think you need to do is make sure you have a very clear communication network with him and letting him know that, like, this is not okay. Just like on a hunt, if I go shoot and there's 4 birds that drop and there's 6 dogs on a line, that doesn't mean my dog gets to go retrieve. No, sir. The other 2 dogs might be going out and going to go get those birds. It doesn't mean every bird is his bird. And having a dog that understands denials, meaning when I throw a ball out, when I would start doing is like simple stuff, like when you're playing fetch with them, throwing a ball out and not releasing them right away, walking them the opposite direction from where you threw a ball.
Yeah.
Simple denial that the dog doesn't start to assume everything is his when it's moving or he wants to chase. That ability to have the impulse control, building impulse control is going to be very, very helpful for his ability to just not act and him to actually think. So using what his prior training has been, his stability work on a gun line when they're hunting should bounce over into your training where you start doing that stability work inside your coop. but never allowing that, the ability to ever chase your chickens. And if he does, he knows that behavior is not okay and not tolerated, whatever means that means for you guys and your team. But that needs to be very clear from day one. That is not okay. That's not happening again.
All right, we're going to try this one more time. I'm going to rephrase it differently. If Brady bought a farm, he's got chickens, he's like, you know what? I'm going to go out and get a new family pet that's going to be on the job, on the payroll. What breed am I going to go pick to train that I want to make sure if there's a nighttime predator lurking behind a tree, someone's approaching to steal the eggs out of my coop, what would that breed be?
I mean, I would my Belgian Malinois. I mean, that's just me. I've taught 2 Belgian Malinois to, do perimeter checks on properties, go out, release them, go check the perimeter, make sure there's no one on property that doesn't need to be on property. You're talking about like these high-end protection dogs that people sell to like high net worth people to make sure that there's no one inside your home, no one outside your property. But I mean, that's me. But the Antolian Shepherd is another good one for most people that have, a lot of properties and
Can you say that? Can you say that name again?
Antolian Shepherd. Antolian Shepherd.
Antonio.
What's it?
Anatolian.
Shepherd.
Yeah, I have a friend with the work.
Oh, we'll have to definitely check
There's
that out.
also
I've never heard that one.
I know people that use they're like livestock guarding dogs.
Yeah,
there's the
Yeah,
Great Pyrenees and the
Great Pyrenees. There's
Caracatchen, which I know someone that's got like a couple of those on a farm.
Yeah, I think that's off of the Great Pyrenees, like a spin-off breed.
It's similar, and they're used to being outside. They're used to alerting for coyotes and all sorts of predators.
I have a friend with a working farm who has a mix of a couple of those, and it's a different game though. Like this dog, as a puppy, had to sleep in the barn with the sheep.
Yeah.
Like the dog. They actually initiate. I don't know if this is right, but they didn't have a bond with the dog initially. They had the dog bond with the sheep. Like the dog never comes inside. It's now a wonderful like companion, but not really companion. Like they have to draw that line a bit. Like it's not invited inside.
Yeah. So there's if you go on to I think it's if you have the Disney Channel like subscription, whatever it's called, Disney Plus, on the Planet version of it or the History Channel version of it on the app, there's a series called Man, Woman, Dog, and it's a documentary about dogs working. Period. So they go over livestock dogs. They go out. I don't know what state they're in, but they do livestock dogs. My buddy Barton Ramsey, who breeds the labs, he's on there as well with his labs that do work for humans, right? Retrieving the ducks. And there's a couple other livestock like homestead style dogs on there. And the Antonio, I can't even say the breed's name, Shepherd. That dog's on there as well. And then you have Huskies that are on there. That do work stuff, pulling sleds. So it's a really neat documentary about just working dogs in general.
I'll have to check that out. I think it's the Smithsonian, if I'm saying that right, is on the Disney Plus.
I have Smithsonian. I don't have Disney Plus.
Well, okay, I know. Jeez.
I know.
But we have Disney Plus, and I think that is a section in there.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Maybe it's history. Maybe it's National Geographic.
Just Google.
I think it's National Geographic.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Hey, Brady, listen, thank you so much. It was great to see you again. I can't thank you enough for all your info. It was excellent. I hope our viewers appreciated it. Again, if you guys can, please go to Canine Gunner Tactical. Check out Brady's videos. Make sure you subscribe. And of course, if you have any questions, I'm sure there's ways to contact Brady in any way, shape, or form. Not sure how he runs his business, but he's running his own business. I love people that have their own business. Go support him in any way possible.
And can we have him on again?
Well, we better, Brady. Yeah, we gotta learn about this cock training.
Yeah.
I train my cock. Do you?
I'm getting a clicker.
I'll send you a video. It's,
Okay.
Yeah.
of cock.
We'll bring Kristen and Francis,
Yes.
the rooster, back and see what she learns.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I have a
You have homework now.
a hobby.
Oh dear God. All
Like,
right,
enhance
awesome.
That's my hobby.
I think that you guys should challenge yourself and pick up a clicker and try to teach your chickens something. There's about 1,001 YouTube videos of chicken clicker training out there.
I don't know. Can I clicker training my boss?
Oh, I wish that could work.
Can we do that on Matt? I did bring in pie.
Maybe.
I should have clicked first.
You guys know exactly how to get your freaking way with me. I'm such an easy
Manager.
pusher. Yes, that is my book. I will write one day, Manager. Brady, thank you so much.
Thank
we will
you.
talk to you again
Absolutely.
soon. Have a great
Thank
weekend.
you for having me.
You're welcome.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That
I
went
learned
really
something.
well. That went extremely well because you never know what's going to happen when you bring someone on. I just know when I met him for the first time, we hit it off. It was just great listening to him, especially when he immediately was like, this is why it happens. And it just makes sense because it's kind of like anything. If you got to figure out what's really going on if you want to fix a problem. And not that training a dog is a problem, but there's challenges there. You got to figure out how to fix it. And I think that was just really good general information because there really is no just black and white answer. That
There really isn't.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the thing. And that's why when I'm sorry to interrupt, but when I did my pre-interview with Brady,
I'm so glad he passed the test. I didn't think he was going to pass the Ingrid test. I'll be honest with you. I said there's not a chance in hell.
I'm very,
There's a reason why it took so long to have him on or any type of dog training show because that's like Ingrid's like, no, not doing it. If you do it, I'm not going to be here. Now, she doesn't actually talk like that. She's actually very nice, but that was just for entertainment purposes. But thank you, Ingrid. So was that so
That was
bad?
a really
No,
nice
it's-
disclosure.
yeah, thanks for that. But no,
Disclaimer.
because he and I agree with positive reinforcement, with building the bond and basic obedience, and he and I also spoke about how like not every dog is going to be able to do all the things that you want them to do. The expectations that we have on animals, and especially dogs, to do things when they're just not capable of it.
Yeah, or you just
it's
get the
okay.
wrong breed. You think you're going to have an apartment dog that's
Yeah.
my God, please understand what these dogs were bred to do.
I know. I see so many times on Nextdoor, they're like, my husky got out again. I'm like, well, you can't have a husky in a backyard in a little suburb with nothing to do. It's going to jump the fence
Right.
and it's going to go.
These dogs are meant to work, and I think it's cruel, to be honest with you, if you don't let them, in a positive way, do what they're meant to do, because that's what really makes them happy,
They
so,
do like to have a job.
yes.
They do. And the thing about clicker training, I'll just say this, having done that, timing, and it's the same thing with when you use treats. It's the timing. You have to get
critical.
the timing.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So it's like they do the behavior, click. When you mark it, it has to be, because if you do it too late, it's not marking the behavior.
All right, so I couldn't agree more, and that's when I get so frustrated. The dog takes a dump, the puppy takes a dump in the corner an hour later. Then you're gonna think the puppy's gonna remember when you go to rub their nose in the crap. No, come on, timing is everything.
I do have one comment. The last dog I had, I adopted a very senior chocolate lab that was clearly a hunting dog at some point. And he was actually fine with my chickens, but if I ever had to pick up a chicken and hold it upside down by the feet, which sometimes I might rarely do to transport if they're freaking out or whatever, it does kind of calm them. That dog would get so excited just seeing a bird upside down held by the feet. But other than that, he really never bothered them as long as they were just walking around.
Maybe
So
they
it's kind
were
of
mad at
interesting.
you because they thought something was wrong with the chicken, and maybe they got excited at
Well,
you.
a hunting when they
Yeah,
when they
it
get
made
ducks,
sense.
they're like
Yeah.
they're held up that way.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that just triggered a memory. It was like a
Right.
flashback for the dog.
Right. And
Okay.
then I did have an Australian Shepherd that was so good with the chickens. We could go on vacation and leave her in the yard with the chickens, going in and out or whatever. She was fantastic. But it took about a year for her to get used to them enough so that she ignored them.
Sweet. All right, it is 1:13.
Is Gus good with chickens?
Gus, it's hard to say because he's such a big dog. He is fine around chickens that are inside a coop, inside a run. There have been some times that it appears he is harming them when he sits on them or holds them like he's holding them for us. And I'll never forget the one time we had baby turkeys, and
He hugs them.
there's
hugs them.
Nan.
He's a little overprotective when
he
we've
is
had chicks in here, though.
Oh my!
That's the only time I got worried about Gus for me
yeah.
is when I've held when there was baby chickens and he just gets really like, what are you doing?
Yes, Gus,
He gets a little
our,
scared.
our French Mastiff, will, if he thinks you're about to hurt another animal or take away his pet,
Yeah.
he goes in apeshit mode. Like, it is scary. And I just imagine he's just like, don't take this thing away. I don't know. All right. So that was awesome. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any now questions in general, please leave them in there. I thank you so much for joining us this wonderful Friday afternoon. I do got some things I want to make sure we bring up again. And that is, if you can send us a picture. I want to do a contest. Send us a picture of your chicken using one of our water bars.
What do they get if we use the picture?
What should we give them? If we get like, say, please send as many as you can. Send them to Ingrid at carolinacoops.com. If you can get us a great high-res picture.
Yes.
High-res, okay? Picture of your chicken using the water bar. Something that you think is that Kodak moment that should be placed on all of our basic water systems, our basic poultry systems, and even we're going to need a picture too for just selling the nipples. If you think that's the one, please submit it. And if we choose your photo,
What do you get?
what do you get? I don't know. I would like to do something kind of extra nice than just a
Yeah, I
t-shirt.
think that needs to be like a little package.
Ooh.
A swag bag.
A swag bag. Thank you, Nan. I can't even
Okay.
think anymore. A swag bag.
I love it. Swag bag. You get a swag bag. What is inside a swag bag?
Not Francis.
It's a surprise.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we
So
have
whatever,
around.
so whatever we got. Hopefully we have some pens left. No, it'll be cool. I promise you that. It's typically, a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a hat, a mug, and some pens. And
Travel mug.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I'm getting started on my next project already.
Yeah, flock shop. Nan was in heaven this morning. That doctor, he asked so many questions. He's like, this is what's so great about still being able to walk into a store or whatever.
Yeah, we have a nice, what do they call, point of service, POS. So you can come in and buy stuff and, take your credit card and boom, bang, bing.
Yeah, Nan's been working hard at that. You just come in, you click it. It's almost like a kiosk now out front in the lobby. We got hemp here. There's been a lot of people coming to buy hemp.
3 people today.
Yeah, the water systems, the chicken.
Auto doors.
Auto doors.
Yeah,
Coop
she's in heaven.
Works.
We have
got-
always wanted to do the flock shop. Are we going to get to see Gus? Yeah, we can bring Gus, and it is a dog show.
Should I bring the chickens?
Well-
Put the chickens
Yeah.
away?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's
He
just
gets
see.
weird with the chickens.
He
I
gets
don't-
protected, but he's never hurt anyone. But boy, his bark. Whew,
He's-
his bark worries me.
How much does he weigh?
150.
Wow.
Wow.
He does weigh more than us, Kristen.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah,
Because
we
I have seen him go on edge.
protecting.
Oh yeah, it's not anything mean, but it's scary as like a little person to see this
Right,
giant
because
dog
like if
be
he's
like,
sitting here
"No."
and he sees you go to put the roosters in the bag, he'll be like, "Oh hell no,
Yeah.
no, you leave them alone, Kristen."
Yeah.
In a barking way. There was another thing. Someone says, so there was.
I'm sorry.
Boo Boo Bang Bang. Hold on. Boo Boo Bang Bang.
Where are you?
Oh, is this Gus? Is Gus coming? All right. I don't know what's about to happen.
What is your favorite house brooder setup for 20 chicks?
Yes. Should we disclose one of the newest inventions from Carolina Coops that is ready to rock and roll, right? Now, don't say what it is first. The question is he on a leash? You got him on? He's going to be fine. Come here, Gus. What, are you scared? Oh, yeah, if anything happens to these ones.
the flighty one I'm gonna put away.
Oh, that'd be, yeah.
Oh yeah, see he already
Oh, here we go. Yeah, whose idea was this? Hi, Gus.
Here, I can put the chickens away.
put the
Let me have
put
Francis.
Francis away.
See, good boy. Yeah, see, now that's textbook. See, he's not distracted by the chicken. He is more focused on Nan right now.
Because she's got a pepperoni.
Put them
He's
in.
trying to make my dog
Bag.
training skills sound.
Yeah, they're not. They're
There we
not.
go.
I mean, they're good.
Wow.
No, they're good.
See?
But you
See?
made it sound like she's
See?
just controlling him. But she's got a pepperoni. That's why.
She is controlling him.
And that's fine.
She knows what really keeps Gus's attention. Gus, come in and say hi.
Oh my
Come
gosh.
here. Come drool on
Look at
Kristen.
him.
Come on. Oh, Nan's gonna come say hi. Hi, Nan. Come here, Gus.
There's
Yeah,
Gus.
it's dog day. Oh, you're so pretty. You say hi, Gus.
Kristen's face. He's such a good
He
boy.
did drool on me.
He got you. He got.
No.
Oh, whatever. Kristen.
He comes to greet me every morning when I
All
come.
right,
Every
there.
time I'm here, he comes looking for me.
Gus is. Oh, he stinks. Oh, he's due for a bath. He's been in and out of the lake so many. Okay. Where's the chick?
So, what's your favorite house brooder setup for 20 chicks?
Yes.
Did
Well,
we?
I'm gonna answer that. However, well, the one we have done a show on. However, we have. Oh, the lights are gonna tip over. He's gonna pull cords. It's a bull in a china shop. Nope, ain't doing it. A guy smell chickens. What are you doing with them? Oh, pepperoni. Oh.
Good boy.
Yes, he is.
So
He is.
20 chicks in a
You're just really not
house.
entertained by dogs,
That-
are you?
that-
Are you mad 'cause he drooled on you?
No, I'll get over it. That brooder that you made is
Mm-hmm.
more suited for a garage or basement, I think, because it is I don't know.
What
I
are
don't
you
know.
coming from you?
Well, it was bottomless. Wasn't
You
it?
had a brooder
Yeah.
in the children's closets. Like, man, whatever. What?
I had one on my dresser.
I see what you mean. So in house, I don't know. Okay.
Well, in house, I've used an aquarium.
For
I've
20
used.
though. Hold on. Let's
We can put 20 chicks
20,
inside for a little
baby
while.
chick. My God, in a week they're ready to move out.
in a
Yeah,
couple
20's
weeks.
a lot.
Right, and then moving was just such a pain. But that's why I
But
love.
you can use those like those guinea pig cages with the solid bottom and the wire sides.
It just
You can use
they
those.
grow so fast. That's why I love our brooder because they can grow into it, and
Yeah, but-
typically on your average flock, by the time they outgrow it, they're ready to go into their coop. Okay, now go ahead. I just had to get that off.
No,
me.
okay, that's fine.
Hold on. Let's talk about brooder. Let's
It's
talk.
the wrong time of year to talk about brooder.
Let's
actually.
talk about the Carolina Coops
Basement?
hen house basement.
Now, that would be
whoa,
worth
wait,
talking
what,
about.
Matt and Kristen? What?
Because when your 20 chicks outgrow your house, which will be in, I'd say, 2 weeks, they're going to need to go somewhere.
That reminds me, I got to tell you something else. Do not let me forget. It's so important. You're going to be extremely happy to hear this. Maybe next week's show.
Can I have a clue?
No, not yet. I gave you a clue. Don't
To
let me forget.
remind you.
Yes.
A keyword?
I'll remember. Maybe next week we'll bring it up on SketchUp. I don't have it in my SketchUp drawing, but I can show people our new hen house basement that is designed to enclose off underneath your standing hen house so that you can use it as a brooder or whatever you want to use it for. Maybe you got to isolate a chicken, but you have quick, easy access to solutions that
You can use them for ducks?
yeah,
Maybe rabbits?
ducks, rabbits, exactly. It can be
Are
used
we
for.
going to install it on
It's
my
going to be a
coop?
party in the basement. Evan has come up
in the
with
basement?
such great solutions. A man is just a genius when it comes. What's going on? A
I
chicken.
thought you were going to install a basement door on my coop.
So we
on the
talked.
show.
Kristen
We
said.
would like to.
Kristen said, "Hey, let's do it at Ingrid's house. We can do that." But Ingrid was not all about it last week.
Well, it's,
Are you ready for us?
It's tight there in the back, but
Nah.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah?
If you want to.
Maybe. Huh?
We just got a giant delivery of wood chips
Yay!
this morning.
I love wood chips.
So a huge truckload. So we're basically putting the labor back in Labor Day. Because we have this. It's like on the sidewalk. It's everywhere.
it makes me so happy to see those piles in people's yards.
Oh my God.
Also, I got some big news.
Hmm?
Big news.
What is that, Matthew?
Good job, Kristen. You went on Google Earth, just put in some numbers. I hope to God they're accurate, but they already approved the permit
Yeah,
without even coming out.
I figured it was going to be, when I saw that it was a $20 accessory,
They're just like, give her the money.
Structure
Give us the
permit.
money.
I was like,
So
yeah,
we're
one
ready to-
page. I was like, yeah, they really don't care.
All right, so I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So
we can get started on that.
we can get started, I guess.
You didn't
Yeah,
even
what could
say
go wrong?
You didn't even say what it was. You just vamped
They didn't
that
really,
whole thing.
no, they didn't care. And they didn't
No,
even,
you didn't tell the audience what it
Oh.
was. You're just talking
We
about
got the
something.
permission.
we got the permit to put the coop in the front yard of our
There
business
you
here.
go.
Thank God.
There
Yeah,
you go.
and when there's a good time, I'm gonna ask if Francis can live there.
Is that what this is all about?
Well, he's the mascot.
He is the mascot. He has become pretty famous.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. 1:23 Friday afternoon, Labor Day weekend. We have a 4-day weekend. I mean, is this work? Are we-
4-day?
Oh, we have Tuesday off too.
We have Tuesday off?
Oh, so this is work. This isn't work. Today we got off. Everyone's got off today.
What? What?
This isn't work. Is it work? All right.
is when you get my invoice.
3-day weekend for
An evil laugh right there.
Yo.
And I'm clocked in.
Yeah, really.
Oh, that's
Okay.
funny.
All right. So I'm going to remind you what we were going to say about next week. Is that what you were going to say?
Basement.
Basement? See, I asked for a keyword. You said
we already
remind
said
you.
it. Yes, to tell you that we got the permit.
Oh, that was it.
For the
Okay.
chicken, for the chicken coop to go outside. Oh, is Ingrid now getting warm? Did someone turn the AC off? Uh-oh, it's getting hot in here if Ingrid's taking her coat off.
It's a sweater.
Oh, and her
God.
shoes are off. All
Yeah.
right, Ingrid's getting comfortable. She's like, okay, the dog show's over. I didn't get angry. It was a good show. Awesome.
Oh, the feet on the desk, arms behind the head.
I know. She is. Oh, there's a shot right there. That should be the thumbnail for today's show. All right. If there's any other questions, let's get to them. Questions, comments. Let's go through it. And how about the story about my dad? Wasn't that cool?
Yeah, that was really cool.
I mean, think about it. You're in
that
nine.
could have saved his life.
You're 18 years old.
And he knew that much about dog training at that age.
I have so many questions
Yeah,
about it.
That was pretty awesome.
But I'm very respectful of ever talking about any of that because I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. I noticed my dad, it seems like as they get older, the more it bothers them. And it makes sense. And it isn't, yes, it had to suck getting grenades blown up 10 feet from you and whatnot. I think so much has to do with what they had to do for their job. It's just, I can't imagine living with that. And every time I see my dad, does he not have just news stories? It's like, what the hell? And when he goes to see it, when he went to visit a psychiatrist just to check in one time, I'll never forget the story. The psychiatrist was like, you are such a lucky man to be alive. You are perfectly fine. I think that's awesome. It's just an amazing story. But to get 2 puppies,
yeah.
and I don't know if he has any pictures of those puppies, and it was WP, white phosphorus. I'm going to say zinc phosphide. I don't know if it was WP and ZP. My dad is watching. He's got to be able to comment, but he's tired. I tell you, this last chemo treatment has knocked him on his butt. Hopefully we find out soon
So we got some questions.
Yeah, all right, fire away.
So Danielle says, what are some plant ideas I can plant in my free range area around my coop that the chickens will not eat? And will they eat zinnias? I don't think they're going to eat zinnias.
Yeah.
What the hell's a zinnia?
It's
of course you guys would know what it's a what?
It's an annual flower. It's very bright.
You would recognize
the bright,
it. Yeah.
colorful.
I wouldn't worry about it. Oh, what is she worried about? Okay, they seem to know what to eat and what not to eat. But
Okay, what will they not eat? What can you plant around your coop they won't eat?
And so they seem to know what not to eat and what, but anything freshly planted is tempting for them because it's fresh dirt, right? So that's really the hardest part about.
I just take a little bit of either deer netting or the stuff we use for the predator apron and just make a little base around. Like if I'm going to plant like a shrub or a blueberry bush or something like that and I don't want them, or I can just completely net it off. But you can put it at the base with some sod staples and then they'll just leave it alone until it gets big enough that you don't have to worry about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you guys are great at so give us some details. Us people that don't know anything.
I
We just
put
want an
a-
answer. Just give us an answer so we can go to the nursery and say, I want this. I want blueberry bushes. I want citrus, as Mike Trapp says.
Well, and she said, what are some plant ideas for planting things? And
Oh.
we've also made some suggestions about things they may like. I know they like anything green in the winter. But so it might be seasonal, and then summer. What would you suggest for things that they would enjoy to eat?
Well, they like to eat. I find they eat the comfrey, and they do that more in the winter because it
That doesn't even sound good.
because there's other things to eat. The blueberries they've decimated, the goji berries they'll decimate, but they they enjoy the berries. I still get berries on them. We also grow a lot of shade over our run area, which is great with the hops and the muscadine grapes because those grow really well here in North Carolina.
Oh, and banana tree plants, right?
The banana plant leaves the chickens love, and it's you can cut off a leaf. It's full of water and nutrition. They stand on it and they can just peel it off. So mostly when you feed them stuff, they can't pick at it if it's loose. So
Yeah, and I reread the comment and it said stuff that they wouldn't eat.
right, they want stuff that they don't eat.
But we were just answering what they would.
Thank you.
But
That's why I just tap out.
But there's a lot of stuff they're not going to eat.
Okay, like,
They're not really going to eat marigolds, but they will dig up stuff if you don't protect the bottom.
okay, so this could be one of those hard to distinguish the difference between pecking and checking out and actually eating. Because people are like, oh, they're eating the hemp. No, they're not eating the hemp. You know, no, they're not eating your coop. I promise. They might just peck at it. They're curious creatures.
But I don't think I've ever seen anything that they will really eat and damage except for vegetables. But more often they just anything freshly planted they dig up. I mean that's where they're really destructive.
Yeah. I put holy basil around my coop. I put hyssop around my coop. There's like anything that I have a lot in the garden, I'll pull it out to move it, and I'll just put it in there, and it usually is fine. Somebody on YouTube also said something that they had read or heard that hemp was poisonous to chickens, and I think they were probably talking about possibly that the hemp plant might be toxic. But anyway,
I kind of even doubt that.
Yeah, I do too. But it's one of those things where people start to say things, and the perception is, well, I can't use hemp. Just like you can't use cedar wood to build your coop because cedar is bad for chickens to inhale, and it's not the same application. So
certainly not the surface area.
Yeah, there can,
shavings.
Yeah, there could be some confusion there. But I was just scrolling up to review. So someone did ask what kind of breed Gus is. He is a Dog de Bordeaux, French breed, I believe, from Bordeaux, France, and also known as a French Mastiff. If you are looking for a great breed that I tell you, when I was searching around for a guard dog, if you will, and I talked to breeders, they all said one thing the same. If you get a Bordeaux, you'll never get a different breed. And I'm like, no, you don't know me. I love all the breeds. I want to have a different breed each time. Whatever. I know what they mean now. There is just something about that Bordeaux. They are just such a great dog. But he's a French Mastiff or Dog de Bordeaux.
Mike also kind of did your coop basement. He said he turned his Carolina coop into a basement, the basement part into a brooder pen or a jail, depending on the hen.
Alrighty. So next week's show.
I don't know.
What are we doing? We're just kind of figuring out as we go. I tell you, we're tired.
Are we building the coop?
I guess we could.
We could do a time lapse. We need a new time lapse because people often ask, like, what is
and
this?
Time lapse are very entertaining.
Yeah, they ask, what does this entail to put one of these together? And I have an old time lapse, but it's kind of outdated. Mm-hmm. And it is a good way to show how it goes together without having to send.
Are you kidding me right now? Did you do that on purpose?
What?
I'm over here eating the lemon meringue pie and there's chicken shit on the plate.
I didn't.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't do that.
Yeah, right.
I didn't.
That is so.
I didn't.
You got to be kidding me.
This
whole time, did you know? Oh my God.
I think it was when the chicken got upset about Gus being in there, and it just kind of flew over there.
Well, that was not staged, but
yeah,
I did not see that over there. What was I saying?
I am gonna have nightmares now.
I'm sure you're fine. Would you like for me to eat some? Would that make you feel better?
You probably would. You would probably be like, oh hell, let me just. Yeah, let me mix it in there.
Little chicken poo never hurt anyone.
Oh, look at it. It's like fudge brownie pieces.
Yeah, well, it was on the other side of the plate, but oh well.
Is that worse than George taking the
cannoli
out of the out of the garbage?
No, that probably is a little worse.
It was on top. Who wouldn't? Who hasn't done that? Yeah. You did that.
I got fired from my first job.
You did
for
that.
Doing
You took a sundae off the top of the garbage and got busted in the bathroom.
Yeah, my first fast food job.
Let me explain what happened there. They just needed a reason to fire you. That's all that was. I know that move.
Another episode of Will Matt Eat This?
Oh my
we found
God.
Well, that's got to go on the clip. Wow. Okay. Well, I think we need to wrap it.
I think I'm going to play the outro music.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And what about the drama?
Oh my God. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Be safe out there. Hopefully, we'll see you next week.
Love your chickens and each other.
Yeah, we're getting
Take
better
care
at
of your
it.
chickens and each other.
Love your chickens and each other.
We need that.
Later.